Welcome to The Virtual Shift, a show looking at the seismic changes happening in healthcare with virtual care at the epicenter. Join me and my guests as we look at key cultural and policy shifts impacting how providers, payers, and patients connect, as well as how care is being reimagined both for today and the future. Hello, and thanks for tuning in today. I'm your host, Tom Foley. You can learn more about this show by visiting the program on healthcarenowradio.com, and be sure to follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter @FoleyTom, and the hashtag #TheVirtualShift. Today we have a great guest, Patty Baran, Senior Vice President of Healthcare Americas at AliveCor. Patty, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tom.
Awesome. So Patty, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Pleasure to. Well, I've been in healthcare for over 25 years, working mainly both on the provider side. I started as a nurse and then moved into the commercial side as well. Both working in the supply chain side, technology, and healthcare IT space. Most recently joined AliveCor, who focuses on the cardiovascular segment.
Awesome. As I look at AliveCor, they are one of the more innovative device manufacturers, if I can create that classification, and the ability to transform a market. The one word that I always use in relative to patient engagement is simplicity. If it isn't simple, it isn't going to be used. AliveCor brings that to the market. Put two thumbs down and go, right? Tell us a little bit more. You know AliveCor different than I do. Tell us a little bit more about AliveCor, their mission, their vision in healthcare.
Sure, I'd love to. AliveCor's mission is to save lives and transform the cardiology experience for people in a remote setting with connected technology and services that really provide everything that patient needs when they're not in front of their own care team. So let's explore that a little bit further. That's a lofty mission. And when you think about it, AliveCor is not a new company. AliveCor has a rich history, started back in 2011, and really is the leading cardiac device on the market. Most clinically validated, has over 140 peer-reviewed articles. It's in 42 countries. You name it, we really have been on a mission to transform patients on their cardiology journey for many, many years. Of course, recently, as we moved into value-based care models and COVID hitting, it's now accelerated at a great trajectory. Our mission is to make sure we're there for that member and meet them at any time they need our services.
And that's really key, to me, for patient engagement, because my background is a lot in the patient engagement arena, patient portals and alike. When you talk about it in the context of EHRs and certainly virtual care, the patient is not going to engage if you don't meet them where they're at, one. And two, as I said earlier, if it's not simple to use. So meeting them where they're at, simple to use, I think, is what differentiates AliveCor from the rest of the market in the context of your device. So your device portfolio is framed under the brand of Cardia. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, and I believe that there's 3 different products within the Cardia platform, but tell us a little bit about the device itself and what specific type of markets that device fits best in, if you will.
Sure. Well, let's start with Cardia is the brand name that's been out in the market. And interesting about AliveCor, and you talk about that experience, one of our key differentiators is we started with that Cardia brand, a single lead. So that's just one lead device. So transforming that EKG experience in a device that is super easy to use. You put 2 fingers on it, and within 30 seconds, it gets your EKG reading. So when you think about member experience, as you just said, in the simplicity of use, we went out and started in the direct to consumer side of the organization, right? Now, fast forward, it's being used in millions of lives, again, across worldwide. But starting with that single lead device allowed our founder, Dr. Dave Albert, to continue to enhance the science behind it, add more algorithms, and really move forward from a device perspective. Again, keeping that member experience, ease of use forefront, but now thinking through what does the provider market need, right? So looking at it from the lens of the provider. And we move forward into a 6-lead device. So again, instead of that cumbersome 12-lead experience that a member or patient used to have to go into a facility to actually get all those sticky pads put on them, inconvenience of time, all of those pieces coming into play, we've removed all those hassles and burdens. And with the 6-lead device, now the FDA has cleared 7 different algorithms that we can easily and conveniently 24/7 reflect for that member so that they can proactively manage their care in a much more digital and connected manner. So that was the 6th lead. We do have the Cardia, thinking of that provider market. We also have other Cardia station devices in which that office setting can make sure they're watching a variety of their patients and able to remotely monitor them as well. And then our latest, newest release will be coming out called the Cardia Complete Solution. And so that's what's really, really important as we all are focusing now into that remote patient monitoring perspective and convenience for the member, is that they will not only have the connected device, which is obviously proven, state-of-the-art, leading device out there, but also the ability to provide them coaching. And that coaching is going to be done with a nursing intervention to make sure that we're helping literacy, right? That member really understands their condition and what to do. Full content with lessons in there to support them on an ongoing basis. Again, when they really want to learn a little bit more and they're taking their actual EKG reading, they may want to continue to take a lesson or review some library of content that's important to them. But they also have access to that coach as well as access to a provider that can actually intervene in the moments that matter and adjust medications, treatment plans, etc. So when you think about that, it's a comprehensive platform, end-to-end care. So what's beautiful about the AliveCor solution set is that it is a plug-and-play model. Right? It is absolutely available to meet the needs wherever those needs are. And so we really look forward to transforming the industry from a cardiovascular complete care platform.
Interesting. Can you talk a little bit about the card that was just announced?
Absolutely. So that's our latest invention. So if you think about, again, going back to what consumers are looking for, convenience and access is always top of mind. So we had the little device that works great. We have it again, single lead, 6 lead. But what we also thought about is people want that conveniently with them. Remember, that's peace of mind to that individual that has a potential arrhythmia problem. They want that card conveniently with them. So anytime they're feeling something or just want to check for peace of mind, it's easily accessible. So we developed it in the size of a credit card. So you and I both know we all carry our credit cards, whether it's in our wallet, in our back pocket, in the back of our phone. every time, that's something people are easily used to doing. So we were able to take those leads and embed them right into a device that looks just like a credit card, but it's your Cardia card, if you will. You pull it out and you can easily, again, in 30 seconds, take your EKG reading, which goes right up to the smart cloud. And then with our services, of course, you can continue to get the provider intervention or coaching or wherever you want to go within that platform. You're free to do that.
Yeah. So, and that's again what AliveCor brings to the market. Not disparaging the original device, but because that in and of itself, as you said, is modular. Yeah, put it in your shirt pocket or your purse or what have you. But the challenge here, with remote patient monitoring is you don't want to give the patient a backpack and say, hey, carry all these medical devices with you, right? What do you already have? Meet them where they're at, right? It's a credit card, right? Put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, put it in your pocket, right? So I can take it with me wherever I am, and I can capture that information. So let's move forward here. Is that we went through the devices in and of itself, but the key here is why. The key question is why. What does the Cardia platform, the taking of an EKG, specifically what you've been cleared for with the FDA, what does it? How does it prevent events, or what does it measure so that the provider looking at it can intervene in a more timely manner?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so no matter what device you're on, the most important piece is that electronic transfer of information to the right care level is done timely, right? And that it is accurate is most important, so that you can provide care as quickly as possible, right? Anytime you're having an arrhythmia, there's huge consequences that can happen, particularly with AFib, atrial fibrillation. That is one of the leading causes of stroke. So if you walk in those shoes of members that are using our devices, they want to make sure that once they're taking their ECG reading, it's going across algorithms that have been clinically validated and approved by the FDA, so that is replicating exactly what would have happened in that 12-lead EKG experience. And so things like, and we are the leader in the most FDA-cleared algorithms out there. So atrial fib, as I mentioned, bradycardia, tachycardia, PVCs, you name it, those are all clinically validated. So what happens then is immediately when that arrhythmia shows up, the member has the ability then to work with their provider, either ours through the platform or through our provider community or our partnerships in the ecosystem, which we can talk about later, so that they can get a quick reading and intervention, whether that's a medication adjustment needed, maybe perhaps just something to calm them down and retake the reading and it's actually fine, or maybe a visit is actually needed or a further treatment is needed. So that piece of that quick intervention is critical. Most patients often in the transfer time from when they're having some type of cardiovascular related event and getting into that ambulance and getting to the hospital is actually, if they don't have EKG devices, they're losing critical moments of prevention as well as limitation of the damage to that heart. And so when you put that into perspective, we're giving it all the way to the patient to carry it with them, to your, as you well said, like a credit card, conveniently located on them at any time to actually be able to be digitally monitored 24/7. That's incredible peace of mind not only for the patient, but for their family members, if you think about it. And how are we helping the provider community? There's not enough providers, right? We looked and witnessed, all of us witnessed that with COVID. And capacity management and the taxing on those frontline workers. And so to be able to take connected technology that is conveniently located and used by that member and be able to intervene much earlier and adjust treatment plans, medications conveniently for them, we're really shifting that balance from what's traditionally done in the four walls of a health system or a facility into a much more of a balance of convenience and remote with some intervention. Naturally,
Sure.
there are times we're going to be needing the four walls, no question. So does that answer your question?
Yes, that was an awesome answer, actually. So again, it's the pinnacle of how healthcare is being shifted to the home. The home is a setting of care. My audience often hears me talk about the average Medicare patient, 5 chronic conditions, sees 9 different doctors. By CMS, the definition only spends 15 hours in a given year in front of the doctor, right? So what happens the other 8,745 hours, right? So and to be able to extend care from the brick and mortar facility into the home and providing a continuous care model, that 24/7 monitoring, as you call out, that's coupled with remote patient monitoring, could be coupled with remote patient monitoring, or I can have the device and take a reading and my doctor still gets it, right? So
absolutely.
So the point there is that it just changes. I don't have to run to the doctor every time I think I'm having a cardiac event, or I could just take my readings in a remote patient monitoring arena. If it was, let's just say, a cardiac care, I could take my readings 16 times in a given month based on RPM standards and billable codes, and again have that peace of mind that I'm stable, and that leads me to 2 other again differentiators for AliveCor. It's really a great example of how you use AI within the delivery of care model and getting it right, if you will, from an FDA clearance perspective, to be able to provide better care at a reduced cost using the AliveCor device. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, right? From the standpoint of trying to make sure we still go with that quadruple aim, right? We're lowering costs, but increasing quality at the same time is key. So 2 points to that I want to answer. Is think about it, we're the number one cardiac device from a patient or consumer perspective, because remember, we started the consumer. That's the toughest one to do. But we're also the number one recommended device from a cardiovascular provider perspective as well. So when you marry those 2 pieces up, you get that clinical validation as well as that member experience. And then in a lower cost structure, staying outside of the 4 walls, and that 24-hour support, we are really tackling everything that we're trying to do. And this is becoming a comprehensive cardiovascular complete offering. Again, to your point, modular. So we're meeting wherever that member and that provider community and or that health plan or that employer or health system, we have the flexibility in the model to meet their needs and still keep the focus of reducing costs, increasing quality, increasing satisfaction levels of both sides. That data integration you hit on is critical. We can put the data into their hands within moments, whether that is into their electronic health record, whether it's through an SDK or an API, or we're partnering with other organizations constantly. We're all evolving, right, in this innovation. Since COVID, it's amazing. So if there's one takeaway, keep thinking of AliveCor from an innovation perspective. We have more algorithms going through the FDA to get cleared right now, which will really move us from not only just remotely monitoring and helping that provider provide that the remote monitoring, get paid for those as well, those codes, but also from a perspective of using that biomarker for other conditions within the heart that are a little bit what I would say more upstream, more looking at hypertension, and how do we actually make that heart stronger and reduce some of the hypertrophy that actually happens from hypertension if it's not appropriately managed. And so if you can swing that pendulum, Tom, all the way to the front end, and when the member is actually early in their cardiovascular journey and manage that much more at a higher level with quick interventions and medication compliance, all of those pieces, you'll get less of the long-term downstream costs that, of course, are related to stroke and heart attacks and other comorbidities that happen. So just like we just continue to innovate with the cardiac card, I'm sure you'll see more algorithms coming out and more use of that AI. Our platform, if you think about it's being used now in millions of people, as I stated, in 42 countries, the robustness of our data set, it's a smart environment because it's continuing to learn and see what do we need to do to provide great intervention guidance and digital assistance to members to manage their own health, to support their times when they're not in front of their providers, right? So I continue to see the trajectory as we swing to value-based care and more health systems and health plans are willing to take more risk on. We will be continuing to be a partner in that journey with them to help that member and help them as well.
Interesting. Awesome stuff. So let's transition here. We have a couple minutes left. You mentioned partners. As folks, our listeners know, I am also the Chief Growth Officer for GenieMD. We're excited about being partners with AliveCor and having your device portfolio integrated with our virtual care platform. So that's really exciting stuff. So it's one thing to have the device, but to look at it from an end-to-end solution, device, virtual care platform, access to your clinical data, access to your clinical team, all working seamlessly in the interest of better quality care and for that patient to walk towards their path to wellness. So with that, HIMSS is coming up. So you will be within the GenieMD booth at HIMSS?
We will. We're super excited to announce that we will be partnering with GenieMD. So please come to booth 4959 and find us there, because once you take a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So if you see it in action of how the platform works and how our ecosystem partner of GenieMD together with the Cardia system really is taking it to the next level from not only a patient perspective, but a provider perspective as well. And so I encourage anybody who's at HIMSS to come by, take a look, ask us questions. In the end, if I summarize, it's when you take leaders in the industry together and continue to drive innovation, we all will see the benefit from that long term.
You are absolutely correct, Patty. So a reminder, 4959, you'll see AliveCor in the GenieMD booth, and we'll be able to demonstrate the integration of the Cardia devices with the GenieMD virtual care platform. And it should be an exciting a couple days at HIMSS, because we're really excited about showing the market what two leaders are in fact doing to reimagine the delivery of care. So, Patty, I just want to thank you. Really a great conversation, very informative conversation. So I want to thank you for joining us on the virtual shift.
Well, thank you, Tom. It was my pleasure, and we look forward to seeing everybody at HIMSS.
Awesome. Again, thank you. We'll see you soon. And by the way, for those that are listening, booth 4959, AliveCor and GenieMD. We'll talk again next week. I would like to thank the show sponsors, both HP and Intel. HP Engage long lifecycle products provide the stability, safety, and security you need, plus flexibility and performance designed for today and tomorrow. As well, Intel would like you to know we're going above and beyond together with new standards for business with the latest Intel vPro processors, delivering what IT needs for performance, security, remote manageability, and stability. And be sure to check out the program page on healthcarenowradio.com. And remember, connect or follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter at FoleyTom, and follow the show's hashtag, The Virtual Shift. I'm Tom Foley. Until the next shift.